Welcome to EGO NetCast. I am Martin Lindeskog. Hi, Leonhardt. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, fine. What are you thinking about? What's up in your area?
What's up in our area? We have a very sunny day that it's actually rained, and that's what rained yesterday, and that's just a blessing because we've had a bit of a drought. So the weather is always what controls our lives in the end.
So we have started a new series here of featuring BizSugar members, active members of BizSugar. The community, the blog, the sharing function, and also now the Mastermind group. So previous episode here, I talked to Gail Gardner, and then you are now in line, David. So what's up with the happy guy and your writing service? You have some spooky services like ghost writing. I'm joking now. So no?
Yeah, it's not all that spooky. Yeah, okay. It's just invisible. The concept of ghostwriting simply is that the writer is like a ghost, not seen. So you have your idea and you want to have it written, and you might not have the time or the skill, or you simply want it to be really, really good quality. So you'll hire someone else to help you with your words. And that's the ghostwriter. And so, yeah, we have a ghostwriting agency. I'm a writer, and I have a team of writers that work with me, some of whom have been around 10 or 12 years with us as well. So,
yeah, and
it's kept me busy.
I'm curious about I like your smiley thing there, the logotype, and the happy guy. Could you tell a little bit about that as a background? Yeah.
That's a less scary story, but it is a story of the power of the internet. And it goes back to before most people were even on the internet, when I wrote my book about happiness, and I was going to do, I was offered a magazine column that was going to be called The Happy Guy. And I went to a business networking meeting, and I introduced myself as David Leonhardt, the happy guy. And after the meeting, talking to some of the people, none of them remembered my real name. They just remembered that I was the happy guy. So half hour later, I was home, and I went on to Dotster, and I registered thehappyguy.com, and it just, it moved on from there. When I started off writing services to other people, I kept the Happy Guy marketing as the company name. But, it really, the whole concept of they recognize you as something, register that domain, and that was before most people were even on the internet. So imagine today how powerful.
So your company name there in acronym for the Happy Guy Writing Services. So that's your site with the acronym there. Right. So how long have you been on BizSugar, and what's your experience of this forum sharing function, and now also a Mastermind group, and also of course a blog?
Yeah. So so I was trying to remember. It's 10 or 12 years. I've been probably pretty much since BizSugar began, and of course it was the share function for many, many, many years. It was the main activity, and I've been on all that time. It's been a very rewarding opportunity. Now BizSugar's really expanded. It's ready to take off with the Mastermind and everything. I wish I had time to be as active as a couple people are on that, because way back when I used to be very active on forums, and then forums kind of died out, except in very small kind of niches. So it's interesting to see a forum starting up for discussion in kind of an old internet, when it comes to the internet time frame, an old established organ, but for the whole wide small business community. And there's a lot of potential there, and I hope it really
I think that too. And personal, standpoint here, I have my passion and interest in tea, and I'm planning in the long run to start a forum on that. And recently on another forum called Fizzle, and they have a podcast called The Fizzle Show, and they have courses, but they also have a forum there included. And then recently, one of the co-founder there, Corbett Barr, he had started his own forum tool called Palapa. So they had an episode recently that I include in the show notes about the online communities, and they have had 10 plus years of experience of this. And it's interesting how everything is coming back again, as you said, with the smiley and emojis and so on back in the day, and now they are very popular. But also the online forum, like I was active on this bulletin boards, and now and then it was interrelay chat, and now it's regular chat on a phone, and you have Facebook Messenger and so on. But still, to have a forum and a mastermind that you could share and take your time, and also an active choice to log in and check out what's happened since last time, do the thumbs up, do the comments, and share good stuff, and also to put in your own entries and excerpts of other bloggers and articles. I think that's a great way of doing it. I think we will see more of this in the future. So.
Yeah, I think forums are coming back. I really do, and it makes sense because you have groups of people with a common interest, and then you're able to put discussions into topics. So it's not willy-nilly, it's not all over. You want to find out what's been discussed on something, and you find essentially a page, and there's all the discussions related to it. You learn a lot, and then you jump in if you have a question or if you have something to contribute on. So I like the whole concept, and I think it's coming back. I see how popular Quora is, and if you look at Quora, each question essentially becomes like a forum thread, but it's not targeted, it's not focused, because it's every topic under the sun. So what I've liked about BizSugar all the time is the fact that it's where you can reach the small business community, which is one of my two main target markets, and you can see you can meet people, and you can also see what's on their mind and what are the topics that I write for a number of places where I'm targeting a small business audience, and I very often go straight to BizSugar to see, okay, what can I write about today that's going to be of interest? And there you have all the topics laid out. Not all of them will be of interest necessarily because they're a wide variety, but it's so much easier than trying to search through Twitter or LinkedIn.
And I think that's a good point. And also, as we said, I haven't started so much with Quora yet. I have an account, and I'm doing some searches. But there you have also the challenges with, it's self-regulated in a way. But on a forum, you could have administrators, you could have some moderators, you could have people who are looking after it in a way. And also you could have different segments. It's easy to put in a way. But I think both are interested in their own way. And we will see more services of this in the future. You said the small business community is one audience for you. What's the other one? What's your main target audience?
Yeah, the other one are just individuals who have typically either a screenplay, a fiction book, or their autobiography or a memoir of their parents or something like that. Those are so there's individuals, and those are typically there's no place to find them because they're all over the map. Those come to us through essentially search engines, and maybe seeing something on Twitter or Facebook. So that's the one audience, and there's a small business audience, which is some books, a lot of articles and blog posts, some press releases, and a lot of them come either through small business areas or as referrals or subcontracts from people I network with on places like BizSugar and some Skype groups as well, and a few other places like that.
That's great. And I see you're very active. I mean, I see blog posts all over place and long lists. And how do you manage all this? Or you said you have a team of writers and so on. And could you tell a little bit about like a regular day for David, the happy guy?
Oh, well, yeah. So the secret is don't do everything yourself. I used to have a philosophy or an approach called be everywhere, because you just never know. It's writing services aren't an impulse, and they're not something everybody or anybody needs daily. It's something that somebody, whether it's an individual or small business, will one day say, I want this. And you don't know on what day, who is going to need it. So you kind of have to remain top of mind for everybody. So being everywhere, being seen everywhere, being remembered all the time is kind of important. But I don't do most of the writing. So for instance, if books and screenplays, I don't touch. Those are huge projects. And I'm not necessarily the best person to do them, but I have a team. A couple of whom go back at least a dozen years with us, and about a dozen writers, some of whom are very regular, some of whom are a little more niche. And I tend to do some of the smaller projects, the ones I enjoy, such as I really enjoy doing wedding speeches, like a best man speech, maid of honor speech, and some of the one-off blog posts and some of that. But I don't do all the blog posts we're hired for either. Some of my writers do that as well. So I try to be seen everywhere. I try to handle the administration well and make sure the customers are happy. But I do very little of the actual writing these days. It's good to have a team.
It's good to have a team. And that could be, I see, sometimes that's the chicken and egg situation. When you're a small business owner or solopreneur, you start yourself. And then to, as I said, not do everything yourself, but in the beginning, you have to do that. So it challenges out there.
Yeah.
And that maybe could be. Yeah.
So my team.
Continue.
Yeah, I was going to say my team. So this, what you're talking about goes across any kind of small business. The thing is, some kinds of small business, certainly any that are brick and mortar, they need to actually employ people, hire them full time or part-time, whatever. That's tough. It's a lot easier when you're running a virtual team in an agency when they're not your employees. In fact, the biggest mistake I made in business and my whole life was when I had this notion that I wanted to become a bigger company. I wanted to be a bigger company. I need employees. And it was just before the 2008 economic recession that I finally took on my first full-time employee. And that was totally the wrong timing. And that cost me quite a bit. Yeah. So you don't necessarily need to take on your own employees. It depends on the kind of business. But my team is there, but we're nimble. They're all freelancers. They're not employees.
That's a good, interesting reflection. What would you see in the future for BizSugar? Do you have any things on your wish list or something that you have thought about, or something like that?
No, not specifically. There are times when, I wish I had more time and concentration. It's hard when you have a be everywhere philosophy sometimes. I wish I had more time to interact on BizSugar Share. And I guess that's why the Mastermind is there too. But there's good content there, and very often I will click through, go to the content. But it takes a certain amount of time to sit there and say, oh, I have a thought here. I want to comment and comment on BizSugar, comment on the blog, comment at the content. And very often I'm thinking I'd like to say this, and I'm looking at my to-do list. So I don't know if there's a way to make to make people like me prioritize more the commenting and interaction. I'd like to see more of that. And obviously the fact that I'm not doing it shows that it's not as important as maybe I'd like it to be.
But it's a good reflection, and now we have it here on a podcast also, and you could listen to it. So I think that's a good thing
But
to have as a.
Yeah, it may be happening through the mastermind. I mean, you're getting more people talking to each other. I definitely think the Ask Me Anything kind of format is a good one because it's like some of those Twitter chats. The conversation can go wild, but you've got some structure to put things into, so it lags too much, and there's some focus. So I don't know. I think it's heading in a good direction.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Twitter chats, and I've been participated in some of these lately also, and I enjoyed the Ask Me Anything about podcasting that I had very much. It was interesting in the questions that dropped in, and during I think it was 3-4 hours that I was there, and then continue the conversation later on. And I thought it was a great session, and I enjoyed it very much and learned from it. And it was interesting to see the questions about podcasting. So I think you have a good point there. Is it anything, David, you want to add when it comes to your work or any thoughts that you have?
No, I mean I'm on, as I say, BizSugar, active in BizSugar because for a number of reasons, but the main one really is that's where a lot of the call them the more woke small business community online is. It's a chance to be seen, to be active. Every now and then conversations come out of it, and that's going onto Twitter, onto email, even onto Facebook, and say, saw your article on BizSugar and blah blah blah. And I've made friends. So a lot of the people I know online, it's at least partly because of BizSugar. It's a congregation place. So. And it's good because a lot of these people, a number of people over the years have, as I say, subcontracted when it's time for them, I guess, to put up some blog posts for clients, some content. They often hire us because they know we get it. Because I'm moving around in that circle on BizSugar and places like that. They know that, okay, you're not just a writer, but you're a writer who also understands online businesses and what we need, the SEO content we need, the kind of content that's going to get shared on social media. And so, I don't know. That's about our story. And so any of your listeners who need that kind of content, of course, there's my little 1-second pitch. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's a good pitch. And could you tell the listeners where they could find you?
THGM writers.com. And you'll find me at Amabe on Twitter and David Leonhardt. Search my name on LinkedIn. There's only a couple David Leonhardts out there that are more famous than me. Unfortunately, they are. How can you compete with someone who's won a Pulitzer Prize? But you'll find me all over the place, and of course, you'll find me on BizSugar.
Yeah. Great, David. Thank you very much for your time, and
thanks for inviting me. It's been
soon
fun.
Again. Cheers.